God. Something I keep noticing as I read through the scriptures is that fate was never only about the beginning. Again and again, people started well, they trusted you, they obeyed you, they followed the right path, but the story did not end at the beginning. Time passed, situations changed, new pressures came, new decisions had to be made. And what becomes clear over time is that faith had to be sustained. Not once, not only at the start, but again and again. It was not enough to believe in one moment if that trust was not kept in the next. It was not enough to obey once if obedience slowly became partial. It was not enough to begin in the right place if the heart slowly moved away. What I notice is that loss of faith did not always happen suddenly. It was often gradual. People did not always turn away in one decision. Sometimes it happened little by little. Trust became weaker, attention shifted, confidence in you became mixed with confidence in other things. They still knew you, they still spoke about you, they still believed in some way, but they were no longer standing with the same faith they had at the beginning. And the consequences did not always come immediately. Sometimes everything continued for a while. Sometimes life still looked normal. Sometimes the outcome did not change right away. Sometimes it seemed as if nothing had happened. But slowly, things began to fall apart. Peace became harder to hold. Clarity became harder to find. Strength became harder to keep. Not because you had changed, but because the trust that once guided them was no longer being held the same way. And this makes me realize that faith is not only tested at the beginning, it is tested over time. It is tested in the middle. It is tested in the waiting. It is tested in the ordinary ways when nothing dramatic is happening. It is tested when the promise takes longer. It is tested when the situation becomes difficult. It is tested when other choices seem easier. And what I keep saying is that finishing well requires the same trust that was needed at the start. God, teach me to understand that faith must be kept, just like anything else in life must be kept. Strength must be maintained, wisdom must be maintained, discipline must be maintained, and faith must be maintained too. Not because you change, but because people do. Hearts change, attention changes, priorities change, and if trust is not guarded, it slowly weakens. I notice how easy it is for faith to become partial, not gone completely, not rejected openly, but no longer whole. Trust in one area, but not in another. Obedience in one moment, but not in the next. Belief when things are clear, but hesitation when things are uncertain. And partial faith never leads to the same place as steady faith. Sometimes the result is not immediate. Sometimes the change is slow. But over time, the difference becomes visible because walking with you requires consistency. Not perfection, not constant strength, but consistency. Returning again, trusting again, choosing again, again and again. I also notice that drifting rarely makes noise. People do not always realize when they have started to move away. It happens quietly. A small compromise, a small doubt, a small decision that seems harmless, and then another, until the place they stand is not the same place where they began. And yet, through all of this, you remain the same. Your character does not change. Your word does not change. Your faithfulness does not change. It is people who change. It is hearts that shift. It is trust that weakens. It is attention that moves. And seeing this makes me understand why faith must be sustained. Not only started, not only spoken, but held onto, guarded, returned to, chosen again when circumstances feel different, chosen again when the outcome is delayed. chosen again when the situation does not match expectation. God, give me that kind of faith, not only the faith to begin, but the faith to continue. Not only the faith that feels strong in the moment, but the faith that stays steady over time. Teach me to keep trusting when nothing dramatic is happening. Teach me to keep believing when the answer has not yet come. Teach me to keep standing when the path feels long. Teach me to remember that faith is not proven in the first step. It is proven in the steps that follow, in the middle, in the waiting, in the repetition. Give me the strength to stay in the same trust I started with, not because everything stays easy, but because you remain the same. And if you remain the same, then faith must remain also. Today, tomorrow, and in every season. Because faith is not only about beginning, faith is about staying. Amen.